Hello everybody, welcome to my RC Plane channel. I'm James, and in this video I'm going to chat a little bit about using razor planes when you're constructing RC planes. So to start with, a little disclaimer. You know, I've been building planes for some time. Started when I was younger, kind of my teenage years, and took some time off, but I've built planes over the years. And I've never used a razor planes, and I've always used something like this, just X-Acto blades and other ways to cut the wood and shape it using sandpaper and such. But the nice thing about this channel is that I've received lots and lots of comments from people and suggestions and tips about building planes, and I've learned a lot from all you. So one of the tips I got was you should try out a razor plane. Alright, so I kind of looked into them, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't find a lot of choices. And what I have over here to the left is the Master Airscrew razor plane, which I haven't opened up yet. And it's made out of, looks like it's made out of plastic. Well, it's made out of plastic, and I think the original ones are made out of metal. And then over here I have a vintage razor plane, and this is the one I purchased first. I actually just got this one a little while ago, and I've used this one a lot when I've been building lately. So let me tell you about this one real quick and kind of why I purchased this. Now, I got this on eBay. It's obviously, it's not brand new. It's used, but it's considered like a vintage item, and it's by this company. They're probably not even in business anymore. This Wilkro razor plane. And what's cool about it, so it says right here, converts the safety razor blade into a handy planer. And that's why, one of the reasons I got this was because, going back to this one again, so this is the Master Airscrew, and I'm not sure, but I think that these blades are probably proprietary for this actual razor plane, and I'm not sure you could buy these blades at a secondary source. In other words, you have to get them through Master Airscrew, and these aren't cheap. I think this is a pack of 3. I'll have to put the price up on the screen for a pack of 3 of these. And I was thinking to myself, well, you know, I don't want to be kind of limited to the blades by having to go to Master Airscrew to get replacements. So I didn't. So I held off on buying this particular one. And that's why I went with this guy, was because it uses just regular old razor blades you'd use for shaving, these safety razors. So let's go ahead and open up and take a look at it. Now, you can still get these online, and I don't know, you know, they're a vintage item, so there's not an infinite amount of them, obviously, but you can still find them, and you know, they're not super cheap. I think you probably see them for around 20 bucks, somewhere around there, more or less, depending on their condition. So, but I'm going to talk about this one because I do think that you can still get this without too much trouble. So this one, real quick, just comes. It has you could set it up for it's flat like this, just so you can do straight cuts, and then also you can flip it around. You can take this guy off here, and I haven't done this because I don't think I need it, but you can flip this thing around and you can set it up so you can do sort of like curving cuts with it. Let me pull this off real quick and be careful. So this right here is just kind of a typical, you know, razor for shaving, and it's got 2 sides on it. It's called a safety razor. And you know, Gillette, I don't know how old this is, but you know, all the major razor companies make them, and you can get all kinds of different brands online, and you can buy these by the boxes of 100. So that was kind of why I wanted to get this one, was because I knew that I wouldn't have to be stuck with a particular blade. Okay, so real quick, let's take a look at this. So again, I need to be careful because this is sharp, and you take your little guy here. I don't know exactly how. I think this attaches on it. I haven't looked into it to how these other attachments really work, because I just used the straight flat side. And let's see here. Let me grab this guy, and I don't want to cut myself, so I want to be real careful. This guy goes like this, and then this sits like that, and then the blade sticks out right there in the bottom, and then you have this guy screws on top of here like this. Okay, and I think, you know, I'd have to look it up, but like I said, you can make an adjustment so this thing's actually kind of has a curve to it, so you can kind of cut, it says, so you can kind of cut curves, like inner curves and such with it. So I put this guy on here, and then the way you use it is you put your finger in this thing if you want, and that's how you control it, and then you go ahead and plane like that. And yeah, so I'll get a piece of wood in a few minutes and kind of show you how this one works along with the other one. But that's it. That's just basic, this sort of vintage one. And again, if you're interested, you can check it out. Maybe you can find one, or others like it, I guess. But yeah, so I've been generally happy with this. But I did decide, because it is you know, a Master Airscrew, I get my propellers from them, and they have other items on their website, and I thought I'll go ahead and grab me one of these. I got it for a couple of reasons. One of them was because I wanted to try it out, and I think it looks like it's a good tool, and also I want to support, you know, any of these hobby companies if I can. All right, so let me go ahead and open this up and take a look at this one. All right, let me go ahead and move this stuff out of the way for now, and I'll put those over there. So again, it comes in this little package, and I know that basically what I've seen when I was looking for these, and I think you could probably even find these used on eBay, is the original ones are made out of metal, and like a lot of things these days, you're finding them made out of plastic. So let me go ahead and open this up. There we go. And of course, here's a little card, instruction sheet, I guess. All right, so let's go ahead and take these blades out of here. Just taped in. Careful. Okay, so they only give you one blade when you buy the actual planer. Set this over here. And then this has a set of different screws in it. So this first screw, this top one, is what holds the blade down. And then these other screws are used to kind of help sort of like just adjust the orientation of the blade a little bit. So what you do is you take this guy out, and I've never done this obviously, so I'm going to learn with you as I do this. So there's our little retainer, and then these little guys, well, I guess they must push on this somehow. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our blade. Now again, this blade is only one-sided, okay, unlike our razor plane, unlike our safety razors, they're only one-sided. So I should do it this way. Okay, so it sets in there like that. Okay, so there you go. Now you can see how these little screws are going to help kind of adjust it. And they say back these out a little bit. Let me pull these out about a couple turns or so. And that's going to move the blade forward and backward, and also at an angle relative to the bottom of the razor plane here, as you can see. And from my understanding, you know, I'm not a woodworker or anything like that, but I have used planes before. You typically want to have the blade at a little bit of an angle, so it sort of has a shearing kind of way of cutting. You want to have a little bit of an angle in it. So let's go ahead and put this guy in here now, like that. All right, and they say, you know, tighten this down. It doesn't have to be super tight, but just kind of snug. Okay, like that. And then there's the blade sticking out of the bottom. If you can tell, I'm not sure. Yeah, there it is. And like I said, in these little guys here, you're supposed to use these to adjust the orientation of the blade. So if you look in this guy, let me see if I can kind of put it up. You can kind of see how I kind of move it. Okay. And then if you push it in or out, then obviously it's going to push the blade forward more. But I think you can only go so far, though. All right. So I'm going to leave it just like that for now, and we're going to go ahead and give it a test run on my leading edge of the kit that I'm building right now, which is the Balsa USA Stingray. All right, so let me go ahead and change the camera view, and we will try these two guys out. All right, so here is my Stingray 120 wing that I'm building, and the leading edge is actually in two pieces. There's a flat, you start with a flat piece, and then there'll be a bigger piece that goes on front of this one, which all gets shaped later into the leading edge. And what they did in the kit, and I'm just going to tell you real quick, is that they actually gave this piece of leading edge is actually wider than it needs to be, and so it's going to have to be trimmed, as you can see right there. So this is a perfect opportunity to use something like a razor plane, because I have a long distance that I have to get as close as possible. This wing is 80 inches long, so you can kind of see how important it is. Now again, in the past, and I still do, you know, I could carve it with something like this, but you really have a lot better control when you're using a razor plane like this. And again, I'm not telling a lot of you what you don't already know. I'm just bringing it up because I never used them, as I mentioned before, in my earlier days of building RC planes, and I'm glad that I'm using them now, so I just wanted to pass that on. Okay, so let me set this up and we'll try them out. So here's the wing now set up, and again, you know, it has an 8-inch wingspan, so boy, it looks long. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this sort of vintage planer. Again, this is the Wilkro razor planer, and let's go ahead and give this a try. I know this one from using it doesn't have that big of a bite, but let's go ahead and try it out. So I'll start, like, obviously I'm going to start way down here when I'm doing this. I'll start way back here and I'll work my way across as I go, and as I get closer to you, you'll see that I'm shaving off little bits. So you can kind of see how much control I have, and it shaves it nicely. It takes just a little bit at a time off, so you can work with it. And you know, when you're doing something like this, you want to make sure you go the entire length and work it that way. You don't want to concentrate in one area. The whole point of this is to try to make it nice and even all the way across. So you want to start on one side and just kind of work your way, right? So yeah, really nice. That's that one. Now let's try out the Master Airscrew dude, and I'll start back here again. Yeah, this one definitely takes out more, much bigger bite. In fact, maybe too much. I may have to adjust that, but really nice. Go back here and let me hold it. Yeah, really good. So actually on this wing, I'm going a little bit against the grain because the grain is sort of angled a little bit. So I'll probably be working it in this direction, and then this one from that direction. So yeah, this one definitely takes off more, but it's really nice. Hopefully you can kind of see that. All right. Then I can go back over it with my finer one. So there you have it. But let's go ahead and start from this side, and I'll just show you again from over here how it kind of catches in there. And there you go. Okay, well, there you have it. I hope you found that to be a little informative. And again, if you've been using these for years, you're going to be saying, well, yeah, you know, welcome to the club. But yeah, anyhow, these are really nice to use. And so again, here's the Master Airscrew one that I purchased more recently. And you can go to their website and grab one. And then online, like I mentioned, you can find some of these vintage ones. And they should, you know, they're still available, I think. And these are also nice also. And again, the benefit to this one is that you can just use your common safety razor, where this one you're going to have to buy the blades, I think, directly from Master Airscrew when they get dull, or sharpen them yourself or something. I'm going to check into it and see. Maybe you can buy these blades, you know, separately from somebody else. Okay, so that's it for now. Thanks for watching my channel. I really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.